So Bethesda recently put up a post on Reddit titled Communication Moving Forward, and in this Reddit post they detail and address a lot of the issues and concerns that the community have had towards them, and they also go over some updates and changes coming in a December the 4th update as well as a December the 11th update. So we're going to be covering all of that in this video today, and let's jump straight into it. So going back to the Reddit post they put up, again, this is titled Communication Moving Forward. If you guys do want to check this out for yourselves, it will be linked in the description below. And the Reddit post reads, "We know you're frustrated and angry at the state of things right now, whether it's the issues you're running into in the game or the lack of communication about fixes, updates, or news. To be clear, this account is run by us, Bethesda Game Studios community team. Yesterday we posted to let you know that we're still gathering your feedback and, more importantly, working to get info from the team that we can share. We didn't want you to think the silence meant nothing was happening, and we're sorry and understand this was not the right approach. We'll work more to make a better bridge between you and the dev team at Bethesda Game Studios. We're posting an article today that has further information about the upcoming updates that were mentioned a few weeks ago. In addition, we're aiming to get you the patch notes for these updates quicker, and we'll have them available for December the 4th's update later this week, probably Thursday or Friday. We'd like to make these articles weekly to make sure you know what the studio is working on, as it relates to the issues you may be experiencing, quality of life requests you have, or new features they're excited to share. Please take a look below to see what we're posting today on Fallout.com, and as always, let us know if you have any thoughts or feedback. This article covers high-level issues being worked on, as the patch notes will go at length into what's been fixed with each update. So just off that portion of the Reddit post alone, this is only a good thing. This is what the community have wanted for a while now. Just a little bit more communication from Bethesda on ways they're going to improve the game, things they're going to add, bug fixes they're working on, and stuff along those lines. Quite frankly, they haven't been communicating enough with the community, so hopefully they continue on down this path, and hopefully they stick to their word here and give us more updates moving forward. Anyway, now moving into the actual updates themselves, and we're going to start off with the December the 4th update here. And jumping straight into it, the first thing we're getting is a stash limit increase, and here is what they said about that. "We know many of you have been asking for an adjustment to the stash storage limit, and we're happy to share that we're increasing it from 400 to 600. While this is somewhat conservative, we plan to increase the storage cap further once we do verify that this change will not negatively impact the stability of the game." So of course, that storage limit really isn't that big. I mean, it is, it's a very good start. And of course, the reason why it's not more right now is they're testing it, they're seeing how it works. And if it does decrease stability a little bit, they'll try and work around that. And this will be something that continually increases as time goes on. Anyway, the next thing they mentioned is boss loot, and here's what they said. Players should correctly receive 2 to 3 items after taking down a boss, depending on the creature's difficulty and level. So hopefully with this loot adjustment, we start seeing more and more better loot in the game. One issue I do have with the game right now is the end game content. The end game right now is pretty much just like nuking the White Spring Resort and just farming the crap out of the legendaries there. Hopefully they can address this as well and just add more endgame content into the game in the future. Make these other nuke zones spawn a lot more enemies, a lot more higher level legendary enemies as well, so they're more viable to go to and farm and make a lot more fun too. But anyway, moving on from that again to some of the bug fixes here. We have one for the cryolator effects. Players hit with the cryolator are now chilled, frosted or frozen, depending on how many times they are hit. The duration of movement speed reductions applied to these effects have also been decreased from 2 hours to 30 seconds. The next one is respawning when over encumbered. We've resolved an issue affecting players who die while over encumbered that only allowed them to respawn at Vault 76. This is something that I've ran into myself loads of times and was really annoying. They've also said now over encumbered players will be able to respawn at the nearest discovered map marker. And then the last one, I know this one's really big as well, the stuck in power armor bug. And they've said here, we've addressed an issue in this patch that could cause players to become stuck inside of power armor. We're also aware that there are additional cases where this can occur. We are actively investigating them. So I do believe they're addressing some of that in this next update, but in those small cases where this can apparently happen, they're still investigating it, and hopefully we'll get a fix out for that shortly afterwards. So that's the December the 4th update, and now we get into the December 11th update, and this one is a pretty big one for a lot of new features coming to the game. And the first one is for the PC only, and this is a push to talk setting for voice chat. This is pretty damn big. You know, when you're in voice chat right now in game, you either have it set to none where you can't speak to anyone, or you have it set to like area or team where your mic is constantly running in games. And a push to talk feature is something that everybody has wanted in this game for a while now. To be honest, it should have came default with the game, period, but it's coming on December the 11th, and that's only a good thing. And the next one, this one's really big in my opinion. This one is one of my favorites in this, and that is your special respec. After level 50, you'll be able to choose between a new perk card or moving a special point you had previously allocated. Thank God this is happening. If you're like me and in the earlier stages of the game you didn't really structure your special that great, and you know, at the beginning you're like, oh, this may be a good thing to go down, and then later in the game you're like, that was kind of a mistake. So this is great in my opinion. This is going to allow you to kind of reconfigure, you know, your character build, and I personally love this feature. This will save people from having to make new characters constantly to go for a different character build they wanted to go for, and I think this is a really cool addition. Now this next one is pretty big too, and this is camp placement on login. This one reads, your camp will no longer be automatically blueprinted and stored if someone else is occupying your location when you log into a server. Instead, you'll receive a notification that your space is occupied. If you decide to find a new home for your camp on that server, it will be free to do so. However, if you don't attempt to place down your camp, you will be able to switch to a new server where that spot is vacant and your camp will be fully assembled and waiting for you. This is another great addition. I've had this happen multiple times to me and my friends. Typically I play with one friend and we have a camp all the way at the left side of the map in the middle and all the way at the right side as well. And this is good for kind of fast traveling for less caps. It kind of is most efficient. And oftentimes me or my friend's camp will just completely disappear because somebody else has built in that spot. And that can be a real pain in the ass when trying to put that down again. So I think this is a very needed and a very good feature that will now notify you when somebody else has built there, so you can simply back out to the main menu, go straight back in, and you'll have no issues moving forward. Hopefully they fix an issue soon as well where your camp can just randomly disappear for no reason. Like I had one the other day where my camp just vanished and nobody else even built there, and that really pissed me off at the time as well. So, you know, hopefully that's sorted soon. And now moving on to the next one. So this one is another cool feature about camp building as well, and this is the Bulldozer. This is a new camp feature that will allow you to remove small trees, rocks, and other obstructions so it's easier to create and place your camp where and when you want it. You can also use the Bulldozer to clear these items from the surrounding area to make your camp feel more like home. And this is now going to open up a lot more viable camp locations on the map. There's certain areas that looked really cool, but it was obstructed by these silly trees and rocks and stuff. And that won't be a problem on December the 11th. So yet another cool feature that you guys at Bethesda are adding to the game. Now they do have a final piece of text that they do mention here, and this reads, "Thank you, and please don't stop letting us know how we can improve our communication and what else needs to be addressed in the game. Once we finalize the patch notes for December the 4th's update, we'll be sure to post them here and all patch notes and weekly updates going forward." So in my opinion, this is a good start from Bethesda, and there's no denying that Fallout 76 has a ton of flaws. From the sheer amount of bugs in the game, from certain quests glitching out, you know, from even the end game, that is something that I am quite worried about. There doesn't really seem to be too much crazy end game content apart from like farming for those legendary weapons, and again, the best place to do that right now is the White Spring Golf Club and White Spring Resort. So Another good change would be to have nuke zones spawn a lot more different types of enemies there, higher level enemies in there as well and stuff like that. And aside from that, just adding more endgame content is another thing that Bethesda need to work on, and hopefully again, as long as they keep communicating what they're working on, they can improve the game for the better down the line. Let me know your thoughts or opinions on this in the comment section down below. I'm intrigued to see what some of you guys think. As always, if you enjoyed this video today, feel free to leave a like down below. It's always appreciated on the channel. Subscribe if you guys are new around, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.